Hey, my name's Michael Griswold. Have you ever taken an honest look at your life and thought to yourself, man, this isn't the way that I thought things would turn out? Maybe you don't make the kind of money that you wish you could, or you don't have the type of relationship that you always envisioned you'd have. Maybe you're not in as good a shape as you used to be, or you don't feel a connection to other people or to some higher power. And in those quiet moments while you're laying in bed at night, you wonder, am I just a total failure? Well, in this video, I want to give you strong motivation to keep going for the things that you want, even if you feel like you've lost every chance. Because I know what it's like to be in that situation. You see, not so long ago, I was very lucky to marry a girl that I was absolutely in love with. I proposed to her at the top of the Empire State Building, in fact, and a few months later, we got married in front of 500 people. It was really a life-changing event. I finally felt like I belonged. I finally felt loved. I finally felt like my life had purpose. 364 days later, on the day before our first anniversary, her and our 7.5-month unborn son were both killed in a car accident. I was driving the truck, and when I woke up in the hospital and found out that she and our son had died, it was more than I thought I could bear. The next several months were just a blur, really. And though I was surrounded by people who were very loving, I really kind of resented it. I went into a lot of self-destructive behavior. I spent a lot of time drinking my face off and really making a bunch of enormous mistakes. And after starting a company that made $738,000 in the first year, I drove it into the ground the very next year. I went from having a house on the ocean front and a house in Denver and a Porsche and a Volvo and getting invitations to parties at the Playboy Mansion to living on the couch of a friend's house, having to have someone buy my ticket to get back to Virginia because I was so broke, and having to steal a burrito from Chipotle. I didn't have a place to live. I was homeless. And at that point, everything in my life was an absolute failure. I'd failed in my marriage. I couldn't protect my wife and my son. I'd failed in my business. I'd built it up and then destroyed it. And I'd failed in my life because all the friendships and relationships that I had, I totally cut off because I was just angry at the world. Fast forward a little bit, and I'm not homeless anymore. And in fact, I've started another business, and it's another six-figure business. Why am I telling you all this? And my relationships are rich and vibrant and full of great love and affection. I'm very lucky. The reason that I'm telling you this is because I know you have those same desires. And though you may not have gone through a tragedy like that, maybe you have, you know the feeling of failure. You know what it's like to be afraid of trying again, because what if it doesn't work out? Let me tell you, do it. Because it is worth it. And every moment that you don't is another moment that you die a little bit. One of my favorite books is a book by G.K. Chesterton, a book called Man Alive. And in it, he says this: I have no doubt that in times past we were in need of priests to remind men that one day they will die. But in this age, we need a new kind of priest, namely a poet, to remind men that they're not dead yet. This is my reminder to you. Whoever you are and whatever it is that you want to do with your life, whatever failures, however big and however embarrassing, and however much your fault, it's not an obstacle to creating the life that you want. You don't have to live defined by your failures, and I am the living proof of it. Not because I've done everything right, God knows that's not the truth, but because I've had the courage to keep trying. And even when I've made embarrassing, humiliating mistakes and sacrificed relationships and damaged them, I kept going. Because in those times when I was making all those mistakes, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just doing the best that I could. And that's the same that you're doing. And no matter how hard you're being on yourself and how much you think you don't deserve to be happy, to be successful, I know that feeling too. But if you were my friend, and I was telling you after Libby died that I don't deserve to be happy, what would you tell me? Would you say, yeah, you're right, you should just live a miserable life? But isn't that so often the thing that we tell ourselves? Let my voice be the voice that echoes in your ear. When you hear those haunting, undeniable accusations, let my voice be the one that protects you and that reminds you that you can do it. And that when you do, you'll look back and be incredibly thrilled that you put in the effort to do so. My name is Michael Griswold, and to you who wants to live a life that you're not living now, do it. Do not let the fear intimidate you. Have what is so rare in this world, which is courage, and you will succeed. And just imagine that day, looking back on this day and seeing how different your life is. I'm looking back now on the really dark days of my life, and I could not fathom that I'd be sitting here talking to you. And yet I am. And I would love the same thing to be true for you.